Soda Music, the #1 website for high-quality plugins and sample packs.
Yes, Millean, welcome to the channel, the Tech This Out podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm all right. I have a cold. I had to play yesterday, so you know how that goes. But you know what? I'm not too bad. What about yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. But it went well last night, or was it a long night? Or you got
it was fine. It's just like those late nights, and I brought a bunch of friends because everybody's here for ADE for next week. So we had a little pre-party. Yeah.
So you have a busy schedule for ADE.
Yeah, I think I'm doing 4 or 5 shows. I think 4 confirmed, and 1 was kind of like not sure. If I was gonna do that, but maybe I end up like 5-ish, I say.
Okay, cool. And that's ADE, right? Like last minute, maybe not. Kind of drop in there.
Always, I think for one of the sets, I don't even know my time yet. It's just like, we'll figure it out.
Exactly, but with ADE, it's perfectly fine. Nobody cares, and
exactly,
it's all right. All right, let's get into it. Well, we have the first question. What initially got you into music production?
Well, I would say very similar to other people, I think, where it's like we just had a friend group that was like we all played video games together.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like every friend group kind of had a phase where it's like, oh, we should try to make music, we should just download FL Studio and just try to make beats. And then you do that for like a week, and then everybody's like, oh, this is actually really fucking hard. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. And then we kind of did that as well. And then, I don't know, everybody did it for 2 weeks, and then everybody stopped, and I thought it was interesting, so I kind of kept going, and yeah.
That's cool. And I think, like you said, I'm sure, like in my friend group as well, we had like a phase of making music, singing, everything. And it was like in the time, like a T-Pain. So auto-tune was our best friend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, singing was great. And when it's going like on gaming, like every party chat has those late nights where everybody just starts singing, and it's just a big acapella group.
Acapella, rap battles, everything like that, right? When it comes to production, so when you started creating music, or now, of course, what's your go-to DAW and why?
So I'm in Ableton because it's the best one, and it's true though. I did FL Studio for like 7 years, I think.
Okay,
and I switched to Ableton, and because I always wanted to, but I kind of like once you're in one DAW, you just don't want to switch. It's just a hassle. But to be fair, it takes like 2 weeks or something to really switch, and it's just the fastest. I think it's the fastest, and it has the most creative options. But it's really funny because actually Jane, like Philip is his name. He does he does like stuff on Music Freedom and whatever, and we became friends through that. And he has a tattoo of FL Studio on his hand, and I was always convincing it, like, come on, you got to try Ableton. He's like, no, FL for life. And he switched now too, so I just sent him. I just sent him a message saying like, tattoo removal is not expensive these days.
Yeah. Or add another tattoo, right?
Yeah. So it's just I think it's just the fastest, and like it has the most creative options.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're seeing a lot of people like make the switch from an FL to Ableton, and not really the other way around. Like sometimes, but I think the most people always end up at least try and make the switch to Ableton.
Yeah, I mean the whole DAW thing is so funny to me. Like everybody's no, this is the best. And then I think Disclosure recently said he's producing Ableton now too, and there's like a whole wave on people on Reddit going like, yeah, he's one of us now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a whole cult on the different plugins. Oh, sorry, the different DAWs.
Yeah.
When you're using the DAWs, what's your favorite plugin for sound design, and why does it stand out for you?
So, I mean, the obvious answer is Serum. I like Serum because I can make something that I have in my head like really fast. But or at least for me, it's not the most creative. You can do crazy things with Serum, but for me, the way it works, I don't know. I don't think it's the most creative, but I prefer like either Diva or like one of the Analog Lab plugins. They have all the old synths, or Omnisphere, because they're a little bit more. One, I think out of the box they sound a little bit more organic, and then two, they're usually a bit harder to control. Like I don't always know, like on Omnis for sure, but like on the Analog Lab plugins, they have so many plugins, and they usually remodel the old synths, which I think is fucking stupid. But they should just make an easy interface, but they don't.
Exactly, yeah.
But because I'm always looking for the knobs there, it kind of also makes me do things where I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, this is really cool. Or it actually it helps me to move on, because I'm kind of like, I don't know how to change this. Fuck it, let's just leave it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's
Then let me do it in audio or something. So I think those are a little bit more creative, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, with like the knobs, like you said, it's or you're not going to use them at all, or you're going to try and test them out, and you create like a completely different sound to what you had. And that's really, really cool, of course, for a track. You've explored a variety of genres over the years, is that correct? Or have you always stayed with your specific genre? And how would you describe your genre or the music that you produce?
So I did produce different genres. I'd say I started with, I think, like dubstep and shit, and like bass house, and I thought that was really cool. So I did different genres, but I don't know, at one point I kind of came to like housey tech house music, and I kind of stuck there. But how would I describe my own stuff? I don't know. It's kind of like tech house. I like to think of it as like party music, you know, like, and I used to do more radio based things. So it's tech house music, but with like a big vocal and like
more like, would you say more commercial then, I guess?
I mean, I don't think, I mean, I have like songs that work commercially, but I wouldn't say I have like super commercial songs. It's more kind of like songs that work in the club and on the radio and where, and that is kind of commercial. But when I say commercial, I think like you know, easier rhymes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like the beats kind of depending on what's popular.
And like and for everyone, exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it's for everyone. I just think it's for more like in more settings. You know, it's like in every setting you could listen to the song.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Isn't that like the music that you're producing now? That's your favorite music to produce, or would you say if I could, like, you've obviously built up your brand, or do you think like, oh, I'd love to do this complete other genre, or is this really what you enjoy doing?
So I do like online production lessons as well, and then and some ghost productions, and that really like scratches that other genre itch, because there I make like Afro house and whatever.
Cool.
So I do get to produce other genres, which is like good for myself. I kind of like doing this, and I do want to switch it up from time to time. So for example, now the next few things that I'm gonna do are gonna sound a little bit more like old, a little bit more vintage, a little bit more like classic, I would say. Because I've got like a very tight sound now for a while, and I'm kind of like, okay, that's cool, but I want to try something new. So I will like navigate that, but it's still like house party.
Exactly, but I think it's nice to try and you work on different new sounds, of course.
Yeah,
and moving in the genre.
Soda Music, the #1 website for high quality plugins and sample packs.
Do you have a specific track or project that you're most proud of? Like where you really say like, this is the track that I really enjoyed making, or this is a release that did so well for me?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my biggest one is What You've Done to Me, that I did together with Cream, which is like, obviously I'm proud of that because it got like so many streams, and the way that track was created was also very interesting. It was like the original vocal was like an R&B song from some unknown R&B artist that I met on the internet. And she sent it to me, and she was like, hey, can't you do something with this? And I was like, this is amazing. And then, you know, it sped it up and started making a new track out of it. So just the way that was created was also very interesting. But, you know, I've heard that track so many fucking times that it's kind of like, I'm so proud of it, but it's like, you know.
It's, yeah, I understand.
Then I have Change Your Mind with Ferric Dawn and Stevie Appleton. I'm really proud of that one. One, because I think it sounds like interesting. I think it sounds like not like everything else. And it's also like I got to work together with Ferric Dawn, which is like a legend, you know, one of the guys that got me into music. And Stevie Appleton is like amazing vocalist. So how that came together, I'm really proud of that one too.
Yeah, cool. That sounds interesting. How do you stay inspired creatively when working on new music?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess I just I try to not overthink everything. You know, I try to not go to the studio without an idea. You know, like I don't go in there and sit down and then be like, okay, what am I gonna do today? Let's pick a kick drum. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I wanna try to do this, or I wanna try to use this vocal, or I wanna try to combine this and this, or make something like this but different. So you know, you start a little bit faster.
And how do you?
I've been.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no worries. Recently, I've been trying to limit myself to 20 tracks, like in Ableton, just to keep it simple. Because you know, it's so easy to get like hyper focused on things that don't matter and make like 5 hi-hat layers, and it's like nobody cares about a fucking hi-hat. You know, like people don't care. That's not where your song is at. It's about the rest. And yeah, sure, you need like good elements, but by limiting yourself to like a couple of tracks, you can't go, oh, let's do 10 hi-hats. You know, it's like, no, I need that for the other stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a nice technique, because a lot of, I think, new producers as well, like we just want to make songs, we want to make it sound bigger and want more, when really, like, even listening to like just like if the commercial hits as well, like seeing how simple some of those songs are and they can become a hit, and in house music and electronic music as well. Like some of the classic songs that we know and that we love are not overly done. Like it's just like the idea was simple, and they kind of built it out that way. So that's really cool.
That's what it should be. If you, I mean, you know, everybody, but it's kind of like all those classic songs are like 8 tracks, because that's literally all they had. You know, so
exactly.
Some 4 even. You know, and then I'm kind of like, well, now we have all these options to make 100 tracks, 200 tracks, and do everything in every way and re-record and resample. But you know, that's making it a little bit harder too. It's making it easier and easier to start to learn to produce, but also harder, because back then it was kind of just like, hey, we have this, yeah, you know, this is what we got to do it with. That's it.
Yeah, and I like to always think of it like a band playing. Like you have one drummer, you have really like good. 2 guitarists, you have a bass player. Like it's not like a whole orchestra of people. Obviously you have the orchestras, but like even like the famous bands from like 20, 30 years ago, like they had 5 people in the band and they were making hits. So it's kind of like that, right?
No, that's like perfect. I say that a lot to people, because also while writing, people write all these melodies and vocal hooks and everything's always playing at the same time. And I'm like, well, you know, imagine being a band. Like you can't have everybody play a lead solo at the same time. You know, like that doesn't work.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, that just doesn't work. You have to, if you're gonna have like the guitar play a solo, then everything else needs to become like supportive. You know, everything.
Yeah,
that's just in the background. And also the same with people always wanting to mix their songs in the first 5 minutes of making it. It's kind of like when you were a band, studio time was so expensive, and you're not gonna go to this super $1 million studio and then sit down with your band. Okay, guys, which chord are we gonna use? No, you're gonna write the whole song. And in your shitty basement with like terrible equipment, and then the song's written, and then you go to the studio, and then you make it like sound really good.
Yeah. So really, like back to the basics, because we have so much technology and things that really make it easy for us to like say that, with so many samples, so many like leads going through each other. But I think, like you said, it's just keep it simple and straight to the point. So what's one piece of advice you'd give to an upcoming producer? Or is that something you've maybe already said now?
I mean, a little bit, but also I would say two things. One where people are going to be like, yeah, fuck you. But the biggest tip I would say is just get good, you know, just get fucking good. Before everybody wants to be a superstar in a year now, like get good, you know, like really hone in your production skills, do it every day, try to get better, try to make a bunch of songs. And if you were to start producing right now, I would say for the next three years, don't expect anything to happen. Just make music, you know, just get in, just make music. Don't worry about like posting on social media. Like you can, obviously it's good, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about writing a hit song. Just try to make music for the next 3 years with no expectations. And then, you know, after that, you're probably going to be like a pretty decent producer. Okay, then maybe you can start to think about, okay, so what do I want to do for like a brand, or, you know, what do I want to do? What do I want to play? And then you can think a little bit more like that. But for the first period of time, just get really good at the thing itself. And then Next to that, like if you're already, at a level where your production skills are pretty good, but everything else is kind of like you don't know how to start, is I would just, if I were to start again now, I would just make edits every week, like literally every week, upload a new one. Because these things, it's like, all these big DJs start to play your songs, and it's not that automatically means that you're gonna be like, a big DJ too. But it helps so much because they'll DM you, they'll text you for things like, hey, you have any new ones? People will know the song. And you can kind of see that with that Enzo is Burning guy, right? He's like releasing music for a while, and then started doing some edits, and some people picked it up, and then people will connect the dots. People will be like, oh yeah, this crazy edit that Wade played. Oh, it's this guy, and oh, he also has a good song. Okay, yeah. So just kind of pump that out. I don't like releasing music like that much, like a real release, but edits, SoundCloud, just hopping.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing it like, especially like even like you said, also with the Afro House as well, and even Tech House. Like it has been like a phase, or like the last year, 2 years, like complete like classic songs put into like a Afro House, Tech House mix. And I think it's really cool to see. And obviously there's like the ones that go on Spotify, but if you look on SoundCloud, just full of remixes. And I think if you can do that, that would be great. Like especially every week, you can definitely create a name for yourself.
Every DJ is looking for music to play. That's kind of the thing, And
yeah, definitely.
I would say, like, last thing I would say for people that are either beginning or just trying to get out of the slums, but like it's like don't forget that it's in the end it is about really good music, because it gets so cloudy with all the social media and the videos and people going viral every time, and that's all good, that's all great, but every single person that kind of went viral that I know, at least, obviously not everybody, that I know, did like a viral thing, and then obviously it went better and they went on and on, but they had already been create music like great music for the past couple of years. And then, they hit it on social media, and then got everything connected. And even for myself, like I when reels came up, I made a reel every day of shows, like sometimes 2 a day. And so many of those will get like 3 million views. And I got so many followers from that. But in the end, like all I was doing was making videos. All I was doing was social media. And I barely produced. So, and then after, that's fun for a year. And after that year, I was just like, God, this is depressing,
This is you're more of an influencer than
exactly, and I'm a social guy, but I want to produce music. I don't want to just sit there and behind the camera and whatever. So, in the end, it's all about the music, like.
Of course, yeah. So work on your craft, get good at it, and like you said, when you get bigger, or when finally you're great at the music. Like you said, edits, putting out great music, connecting with other people, of course. If you could collaborate with an artist that is now dead or alive, who would it be, and why would you collaborate with that person or that band or whatever?
Well, either Chris Lake or Skrillex, but I think realistically, Chris Lake is something that I obviously would like be able to do in some future. With Skrillex is a little like I don't know how
you never know
that, but you never know.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I think he sampled the Alfaya's Push Pull, and then now they're on the track together, which is insane.
Exactly. You never know.
So you never know, but it's a bit of an obvious answer, but those are like the people that really shape the sound for me, I guess. So
yeah, no, that sounds great, man. And what are some of the tracks or albums that you're listening to lately? So what do you listen to?
So I barely listen to like house music in, not party time. But but Anti-Up, Chris Lake and Chris Lorenzo, they just dropped their new album, What Is Life. I've been listening to that and enjoying that a lot. And again, like I said, I don't like to listen to house music when I'm just hanging out, but it's a really good album. Like it's a really, really nice, interesting sounds, something different. So I've been listening to that a lot. And besides from that, just I try to listen like people like Kate Renata, Young Franco, Xmino, more like rap.
Yeah, cool.
That's what I like to listen to.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people that we've spoken to as well, like the influences are from not necessarily the music that they actually make. Like it's getting it from like an R&B, from rap, from rock, from wherever, country even nowadays as well, because country's getting a lot bigger as well.
That Tipsy song, that bar,
I know,
is
right?
terrible. It's horrible.
But there's already also with that so many edits. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if this is working. Cool. Last but not least, obviously we're working with Soda Music. What's your favorite product from us, from Soda Music?
I think Basecamp 2. I keep switching between 1 and 2. I just downloaded them like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I think 2 is my favorite, but I always switch them up, like, because they're kind of the same plugin, different, slightly different sound. So I keep forgetting which one is where. But I like that it's very easy. It's just like 30 or 40, I don't remember how many, good sounds, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like here you have like a drive knob and you have a chorus, and that's it, you know?
I know.
So that's perfect, because all the tools I'm looking for in music production are like that. You know, everything I use except for the synths, because the divas are a bit more complicated. It's just like, it has to be simple, man. Like everybody used or still uses these waves, channel racks, and all these SSLs and all these things from, you know,
So much,
modulated after all this old stuff, and it's good. It's good, but when I'm trying to make music, I just want things that have like 3 knobs, man. Like
exactly.
I just want to do this, and then it needs to go boop, and then I can.
And the sound, you're like, oh, that's a good sound.
So I think I like those the best. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, for your interview, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, always here to talk to the people.
Soda Music, the #1 website for high-quality plugins